Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that, beautiful Six of Swords. Let's put that into some context, all right? Because I feel like this is a lot of organization. I feel like that is a plan that is really coming together for you. But let's see, we've got the Fool. We've got a lot of good cards. Yeah, look at that. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. For that, we're using the Smith-Waite Tarot. And this is just going to be one card that we select at random. We're going to put Kevin the Frog right there on top. And we are not going to look at that until the very end. Hopefully that will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay, so let's look at these energies again. We've got major, major, major. We do have some good fire energy. We've got some interesting water energy. We've got, of course, the central air here. And then we've got this earth. We've got this earth energy, which I think is, well, it's pretty valuable, I think, in more ways than one. But let's start with the Six of Swords here. I feel like you're someone that really likes to have a pretty well thought out plan, you know. You seem to be somebody who's very organized. I think that you do, Gemini, spend a lot of time analyzing things, putting the pieces together, you know, keeping track of things. And I think you like to really think things through. Maybe you write them out. Maybe you're someone who has like a day planner. You keep a detailed journal. You like to have a structure in front of you that you can kind of look at, right, before you really get into something. I feel like in some ways maybe this is holding you back. Maybe this is a lot of structure, that a lot of planning, a lot of this organization, a lot of thought goes into things. And then there might be this kind of need to follow through, you know. It's like we have the Six as the perfect mirror of our original idea. We're able to really put our thoughts into words, into blueprints and plans, right? But then we need that final step from the Six. We need to mirror that down into the manifested world, which I think is why we have these tens here, right? If you think about the Tree of Life, I don't know if you're familiar with Kabbalah, but the Ace is at the very top, the Six is one level down, and then the 10 is all the way at the bottom. They are mirror images, right? So I think that we're able to really formulate the perfect kind of plan, you know. Now we need to do the next step and reflect that down into the material world and build it, right? Build it according to plan. So I think that there's something going on with you, especially with this major arcana that we see in this kind of, you know, this rainbow, this arc configuration here. I think there's something where we're trying to now step outside of our structure, right? Step outside of what may ultimately be a limiting worldview, a limiting structure, okay? It's not necessarily so. It's limiting if we don't put it into action afterwards, right? So we're being confronted with this Prince of Cups. This is air and water, right? I don't think this is necessarily another person in your life. I think this is an aspect of yourself where we're trying to get this feeling that we have inside, this connection, this meaning, this purpose, right? This water energy. And we're trying to express it, right? And I think it's kind of getting locked up in all of this planning, all of this structure, all of these details that we keep drawing the blueprints. We keep making the sketch, and then maybe we throw it out and we do a new sketch. And I think that our heart, the real meaning behind it is kind of striving to get out. Because with the Prince of Cups, I always think of it as a card about authenticity, right? I feel like there is this water aspect to us, this spiritual, this source, this connection, this meaning and purpose that we feel. We're having trouble expressing that, right? And I think it's almost like we're trying to express it in words and pictures and plans and blueprints, but that's not really how it's going to be expressed, right? It's going to be expressed here in these tens, in the physical world, in the kind of completion of this energy, especially in this Ten of Pentacles, which is amazing. This is a fantastic card to have. But I think we're mixing the planes a little bit here, right? We think that our expression of our soul is in this kind of planning, is in this almost scientific approach to whatever we're doing in life, if this is a career thing, if this is some business you're starting, or just your life in general, right? So what we really need to do then is to convert a lot of this planning and structure into action. I think that's why we've got the Fool up here. Because the Fool is kind of, in some ways, the exact opposite of this Six of Swords, right? The Fool, and it's at the top of the path of the Dove, so I think this is kind of what we're aspiring to. Or perhaps this is the alternative that we're considering. Maybe we feel like we either have this very systematic approach to life, very structured, very orderly, organized, very well planned out, right, scheduled, or we have the exact opposite, just flowing with the wind, just blowing wherever the wind takes us. So it's almost too much control and then not enough control. Yeah. Because the Fool, and maybe we do need to find kind of a balance between this, right? Because the Fool is open to experience. The Fool is, it's either the Fool or the Sage, right? And I think we're trying to find where that line is. Where's the line between just being foolish, not having any plan, just being completely random and spontaneous? Where's the line between that being a foolish thing, get you in trouble, it not going to fulfill your plans, not going to get us to the tens that we want, because the Fool is just easily distracted by new things, doesn't have much of a plan, is just kind of going with the flow in a very irresponsible way, right? But the other side of that is kind of going where the Spirit takes you, right? There's this sagely aspect of it where we're not being limited by what we think is for us, what we think we need to do, what our paperwork tells us, right? What our itinerary says. We're just kind of going where the Spirit takes us. I don't know how else to put it right now, So the Fool, I think, is a very important energy for us to try to incorporate, but of course we don't want to just only have the Fool energy, okay? Because the Fool, I think, is rather purposeless, right? It's pure air. It's expansive. It wants to go everywhere and do everything. Doesn't have any agenda, doesn't have any sense of destiny or purpose, is just whimsical, right? And we need a little bit of that. We need to have some balance, some structure, and some order too, okay? So I think we're maybe trying to figure out how to incorporate a little bit of this Fool so that we can more authentically live according to this water energy that we see in this Prince. We're trying to make our external environment match as closely as possible this spiritual internal environment that we have, what we aspire to. What is it that you want? What is it that you feel in your life? We may be planning for it and scheduling it and not just living it. Maybe we're mistaking the map for the territory, right? The blueprint for the actual manifestation, right? The prototype or the product of it. Okay. Now also behind you I see this death energy. Now with the death card, this is sometimes, especially when it's in the past like this, when it's kind of behind you, because I feel like you experienced some kind of a loss recently, of any kind. I'm not going to speculate what exactly this was, but I feel like this loss kind of gave you a bit of a wake-up call. It let you know that, hey, you got to start living according to your spirit, your soul, right? Your will. And I think it kind of is what's leading us to this kind of issue now, where maybe we feel like we spend too much time planning, not enough time doing, So I think there was some sort of a loss that sparked this for you, that kind of prompted you to start thinking about things in this way. With the death card too, I think it also speaks of a long-term spiritual evolution for you, right? I think this is part of your natural path. I think maybe it's sparked by a recent loss, anything, a job maybe, or God forbid, a pet or a family member. I hope it's nothing serious like that. But it's something that is kind of making us think about the present and about the future, And I think this is one kind of defining moment in your more long-term, your broader landscape, right, of your spiritual life, of your evolution. Now, beneath the surface, we have this Two of Wands. I think you know that when it comes down to it, underneath everything, the basis of all of this is just the choice to act, right? This is the closest card that we have to source, the closest card that we have to an ace, right? It's a 2. It's fairly connected with with source, with spirit. And the 2s are all about choice. This is the choice to own our life, to take control, to step into that responsibility and know that whatever happens or doesn't happen, it's our choice how we respond to it. It's our choice how we incorporate that. Do we let it defeat us? Or do we use it to further assert ourselves and further follow our will? And that is what we feel with this water energy. And right now, like I said, I feel like there's a disconnect between our head and our heart. Our head is wrapped up in planning all the things that the heart wants. But we need this fire energy. We need to start doing it. Yeah. So I like this. But it does come down to a choice. Do we act or do we not act? That's kind of what it boils down to. I like the card that we see in the future. It's this lust or strength card in the future. And this is really nice. This is kind of about control of the creative force. This is about controlling a little bit of this fool energy, right? Kind of learning how to rein it all in and bring everything together. Bring all of these experiences, all of the plans, all of the choices, all of this kind of free, expansive, wandering kind of energy. Bring everything together into this magical moment, this future. The future is going to be one of controlling your destiny, of manifesting the reality that you want in life, the things that you want, the experiences that you want, the meaning that you want in your life. We're manifesting that. We're being given the opportunity to take control over all aspects of ourselves and to manifest this, okay? And this card is representing, again, it's kind of tomorrow's energy, where you're going to be so connected with your activities, with your job, your friends, your life, right? Your living. So connected with that, it feels like a spiritual experience. It feels like magic, right? When we have all of these things kind of together, when our head and our heart can unite. And I feel like this is what we're trying to do, right? When we start taking action with that kind of in mind, no pun intended, then I think we feel a new kind of passion for what we do. We feel a new kind of magic in every activity, just the daily stuff, you know? Because now our heart is being expressed through action and not just stuck in this kind of systematic structure, planning, you know, not in the itinerary and the map. We're now walking the territory, right? And I think this is going to have a tremendously powerful feeling for you, right? Something as simple as just living your truth, living your spirit and soul, your heart's desire. Just, and I don't think this is any one thing either, right? I think this is the feeling of discontent because the life that we're leading doesn't seem to get past this Six of Swords, this planning stage, you know. But I think it is going to. And I think this is the confirmation of that. I feel like you're under the umbrella of all of this major arcana energy. This is the perfect time for us to get our heart and mind on the same page, because over here on the path of the Serpent, we have some very strong energies. First, we have the Ten of Pentacles. This is the mirror image of the Six. All of the plans that you have now, the plan to express your heart, the plan to really live your destiny and to express your meaning and purpose in your life. This is the mirror image of that. This is all taking place in the real world, in the relatively real, you know, physical world. And the Pentacles contain all of the other cards, right? The Pentacles contain the swords, the cups, and the wands, right? Everything is encapsulated in the discs or the pentacles, in the earth element. So when I look at this card, I think this is your best life. I think you're going to feel like you're in this best life. Yeah. I think this card is all about wealth. It is about your experience of satisfaction with the life that you're living, with your living. Yeah. But we have to ask ourselves, what does wealth mean to us? Is it just finances? I don't think so. Finances are part of it, sure. Is it just learning and knowledge and having skills and relationships and being able to communicate and be social? Yes, it's that too. Is it about the emotional component, feeling satisfied, feeling like your desires are being fulfilled, feeling like you always have something to yearn for, and that gives you a sense of satisfaction when you attain that? And I'm not talking about just the kind of daily desires of, what you want to eat or, I really would like to just lay on the couch for a while. It's that too, but it's not just that. Yeah. This is wealth. This is everything that you could think of to go into this card. And what I like to say when I see this card is, if I were to ask you to draw a picture of your best life, what would you draw? What kind of things, people, pets, plants, whatever, what would be in that picture? That's what does it mean to be a wealthy person, right? I like asking that question. And when we get the Ten of Pentacles, maybe I'll continue to ask that question. You can leave some comments. What does it mean to be a wealthy person? Because this is what is in your general energy right now. You're going to feel like a wealthy person. When we get this energy here moving, this is what your general energy is going to be. So it's important for us to know what this is if we're going to then take these actions and these steps, incorporate this energy to do this, right? We kind of, what came first, the chicken or the egg, Next card. Next card's in the environment. It's a Five of Pentacles. Why is this in the environment? This is usually worry. It's usually some anxiety about shifting resources, right? Shifting finances, uncertain times. Things are a little shaky. I think what this really means, because this is about change, this is about movement, right? And movement has a tendency to make us a little nervous, right? Whenever there's change, I get a little nervous. You can ask my 3-year-old. She'll tell you. Because for someone that young, everything is new. Things are always changing. Time to start going to preschool. That's a big deal. A big change from our usual routine. That's enough to make anyone nervous, right? But I think what this is also talking about is a way for us to kind of move resources and material, move energy in and out of our life as we solidify this best life wealth feeling, right? We could take this very literally and say the only way to obtain wealth is to be willing to invest it, to risk it, to move money around, right? To buy and sell and that sort of thing. But this isn't a financial reading. I don't know anything about stocks or anything like that. But I know about energy. And I feel like this is the moving in and out of energy so that we can solidify this. But what I also think this is talking about, because this is in the environment. This is the time for your environment, right? This card is in the position of the environment, your relationship with the environment, but also the timing, right? It's time for change. It's time for movement. It's time to clear out all that stuff that's not working for you. It's time to have that garage sale, right? Before the weather gets too extreme. My cat's here to confirm. She loves coming in on the Gemini readings. She doesn't like change either, right? She likes to know. She likes to have the routine. You know, she knows what time I film my readings, and she likes to come and say hello. So here she is. Here you go, TT. I feel like this is not accumulating more stuff. It's clearing stuff out, simplifying things, right? It's movement. It's change. We don't want to let go of a lot of stuff. But sometimes we need to, right? We need to understand what wealth means to us and then get rid of everything that isn't that, right? Get rid of everything that isn't that. I think this death card kind of gave us a little hint of that, right? It maybe showed us the temporariness of things, but also the permanence of things, right? The only constant is change. There is some sort of stability in change. There is stability. We solidify our wealth by allowing it to move freely in and out of our lives. And in this instance right now, I think it's time to move stuff out. I think it's time to simplify. Yeah. Maybe our 6 of Swords, maybe our plan, our calendar, our day planner, right? Our bullet journal. I used to do those. Maybe it's getting a little too cluttered, right? Maybe we're one of those people that we sit down, we start writing in our journal, we start making the lines, and we make all the spreads. You know the bullet journal, right? We get so wrapped up in making every little box and line and every spread and tracker and all this stuff. Before we know it, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. We got to go to bed. We haven't really done a lot, you know. I mean, yeah, we've created the structure, we've created the system for it, but we didn't do anything, right? We didn't move any energy, except the physical energy, and we've solidified some of this mental energy. But I feel like we spend a lot of time doing things like that. But are we living the kind of life that gives us then something to write about in the bullet journal? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I have those days when I'm journaling where I'm just like, I really didn't do a lot today. You know, I can still fill a few pages, but it's it's this idea that there's a disconnect, you know. There's a disconnect, like I said at the beginning, between the heart and mind. We want to feel inspired. Sometimes it happens to me. I get wrapped up in the structure of the journal, and I want to make everything fine. If I make a mistake, I got to start over, you know. planning, structuring, making the lines, getting the ruler, doing everything really, really tried it as perfect as possible. And then I end up not writing anything in it, maybe, some days. It doesn't matter if what we're doing is perfect, right? You don't have to have the best penmanship, right? You can make every letter very, very perfect. That we're still talking here about 6 of Swords. You can make every letter perfect, but you're going to go a lot slower, and a lot less is going to get written. Where if you were really living from your heart, right? If you felt this connection with the Spirit, I feel like you would just be writing. The quality of your penmanship maybe would be a secondary factor, right? Because we'd feel like we need to express this. We need to get it out. It's that kind of a vibe that I'm talking about. I'm not saying that if you have perfect penmanship, that you're somehow not living your best life, but maybe I'm just jealous of people who have nice handwriting. That could be it. Anyway, with the 5 of Pentacles, I do think it's simplifying things, and it could be simplifying this, that maybe our 6 of Swords is getting too complicated. The next card, though, is this 10. And this is in the position, it's a 10 of Cups. I feel like it's in the position of what we don't want. The key word for this card is satiety, right? We're being full. We just can't eat any more food. We can't consume anything else. All of my desires have been filled. I cannot take another ounce of joy, right? I've had it up to here with joy and pleasure. And this is what we don't want, right? And this is being emphasized. This is being drawn out of this 10 of Pentacles to show us, yeah, I want to be wealthy, but I don't want to feel like I have nothing left to strive for. I don't want to feel like all my cups are full. It's like once you become sugar, you can no longer taste sugar, right? So we back that off just a little bit. We leave 1 cup empty. Gives us something to strive for. That's the 9 of Cups. So we don't want the 10. I think you'd rather have a 9 because you've got this Knight of Wands energy. You've got this real desire to go out and live life. And this is kind of some Fool energy too, because the Knight of Wands is pure fire and pure air. There's no direct, this is a card, the pure fire energy, this is some energy that can really get carried away, right? This is just right out of the gate, full bore, pedal to the metal, full throttle. Might get a little squirrely, right? Kind of, it's sometimes difficult to control a car when you're just flooring it, right? I don't suggest it. Don't do it. But this card's kind of like the horse is taking off with the rider, right? The rider's not in that much control, right? This is pretty much the same thing, only maybe a little less violent than the fire energy could be, right? But very similar, because we have this need to get out and just live, right? But we've got to also have this other component to it that allows us to understand what we're living and to be able to write it down, to be able to appreciate it, and to know how it fits in with our best life. But now let's look at this mystery card. Thank you, Kevin, a.k.a. Mr. Bates. What is the mystery card today? Gosh, we don't really need much. I would like to see some water energy. I would honestly like to see a 9 of Cups or a 6 of Cups, right? No, it's another 10. Another 10. And this, again, is being drawn out of this 10 of Pentacles to emphasize that the key thing here is your responsibility. These are your sticks. This is your pile of wood that you're carrying, okay? This is kind of, see now if we look at it, we have the 10 of Wands, Cups, and Discs. What we don't have is a 10 of Swords, right? So this is, this is showing, I think, that there is this this kind of extreme, right? 10 of Wands, 10 of Cups. And that maybe we feel as if we need to lighten the load. And that could be part of this 5 of Pentacles too. Right? We had a 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is very good. I didn't mean to kind of poo-poo that 6 of Swords. Right? It's a very good card, very balanced. It needs the reflection into manifestation, right? Otherwise, it's just in our heads. And a reason why that might be, I think, is because we feel a heavy burden. Maybe we feel like we're carrying the whole thing on our own. Maybe we do need to share the load. Maybe we do need more networking. Maybe we do need some more of these Swords cards to help us to network with other people, right? Maybe we feel like we're kind of doing this on our own, okay? So I kind of feel like a reason why we're stuck in the 6 is because there are certain things about the 10s that we don't like. There's certain things about the completion of this energy that we don't like. Maybe it is more fun to kind of keep these things in our head where they can be anything we want, whereas in reality, when things get down to the 10s, there's positive and negative. Right? There's positive and negative. You've got this 10 of Pentacles. Well, now you have to maintain it, right? Now you have to sustain this. You have to be the caretaker of this, right? You've got the 10 of Cups. Well, then, you know, you have the means of fulfilling every desire. What's the fun in that? There's nothing to strive for. And then with the 10 of Wands, maybe it's a bit of a lonely burden for you. Right? So there are shadow aspects to the 10s that we might be avoiding, and that's why we are staying here with the 6. Okay. Anyway, we are going to do an extended reading, Gemini. If you want to stick around, click on the link either up there in the corner or down below in the description box. Okay. New readings come out every day, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next reading. I want to thank you for being here. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.